Okay. Share this real quick. We're live. Okay, keep that there. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen, I'd imagine. OBS, yeah, should be working. Let's go live chat. Hello, Adele, can you hear me? Is it all good sound-wise? I'm just gonna, let me know first. There we go. Now the stream is live. Excellent connection. Perfect, perfect. Looks good. So yeah, I've been kind of chilling, as you guys know. You know, I mean, there's quite a bit to update. I haven't really looked at the charts since early Friday. I just kind of went to go, you know, just chill for once. Been tired of kind of burnt out, but as well just kind of wanted a break for a little bit and just kind of chill with the current conditions and stuff. So yeah, loud and clear, awesome. So I wanted to quickly talk about the current market outlook, what's going on exactly, and then we can kind of go from there. So where were we? On Friday, we were trading around the 63K region. So we were around this level right here. And I mentioned this to you guys many times, the fact that we need to hold 63. That's the first concept. So if that level were to hold, then the daily time frame was going to be important, right? What we wanted to see, of course, was the bulls end up breaking above that level and using it as support, which you can see did end up playing quite nicely. And we had a very strong bullish engulfing today, right? We saw Bitcoin jump up from 66 over to 69, almost 70,000, which is a very nice trading opportunity. But in terms of Ethereum, we are pretty much a little lagging here, right? Ethereum's not really doing too much here. Yeah, we have like a little bit of a move set, but we've been in this range many times before. You can see we had the same sort of situation happen here. Same sort of range, breakdown, retesting these exponential moving averages as resistance. This, of course, was Fed news, right? So Fed news came out. It was neutral. We saw a very strong bullish engulfing, and then we were pretty much trading sideways. But Ethereum, we don't have that confirmation just yet. On Bitcoin, we do have a very nice confirmation, but on Ethereum, we don't have that confirmation. We need to see those EMAs bouncing in order for us to see any sort of continuation, as well as the fact that if you look from Ethereum's perspective, we've been trading on 40.28, and then we had that breakdown structure, right? So we had a huge move towards 3,000. So the pullback was somewhat necessary, right? We can't just continue going just like we went straight up. We can't just go straight up. We have to have some sort of correction. And this when we have a correction, we just can't keep going lower. There has to be some sort of pullback opportunity. But right now, what I'm just going to be paying attention to, at least for Ethereum and altcoins as well, is just like this daily time frame right now. This is what I'm interested in. I want to see the bulls end up holding this level, and then that's our confirmation that we are looking for another leg towards the upside into the 4K region. But if we do end up just consolidating at this range, then I'm still heavily focusing into 2800. The reason why I explained this to you guys last time too, 2800, of course, looking at previous price analysis, this has happened before, so it's not like it's a random thing that I'm just, you know, like talking about. Like, this has happened many times before, actually. So you can see, we can talk about previous price, same idea here. We had 40.28 first corrective move. We did end up playing this very well. We looked for our shorts at this zone, or rather even our taking profits at this zone. We played that same sort of situation we are seeing right now. And this is always the fun part to me, right? Like, you guys, this is why I explain this stuff to you guys, because it always makes me laugh. So you want to talk about exact and how exact the lines can be is, look at this, right? So we are in this state on Ethereum right now. I think this is a perfect example of what exactly is happening. And it makes me laugh because, you know, there's a lot of, I'll explain after, but right now, look at Ethereum, right? So this is back in 2021 of August. So we had a breakout structure, same idea, 40.28 rejected. But if you look at where the wick played on Ethereum, so you see that little wick right here, this wick, this huge candlestick drop. Look at where the wick played. Look at the bounce aspect of it, where we went to, and then the continuation of the corrective move. So right now, in terms of Ethereum's price analysis, looking at August 2021, you can see that we had 40.28 down to 30, what is this, 30, about 30.30. Now, if I go to the current move set, look at that. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is very precise on these levels, right? So we got pretty damn close, about $20 difference to where the corrective move happened. We had the same idea. So same idea, 40.28, corrected move down to 30.23, and now we are seeing, rather what we're seeing right now is the next pullback, which of course, looking at previous price, we are right here. Technically speaking, we would be right here. So same idea, we're at 35.78 right now. A pullback would be around 3600, and of course, boom, right? So that's why I'm more realistic when it comes down to charts. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, first green candle, guys, this is it. You missed your chance. It's over for you guys. Because this has happened quite a bit. You got to understand that these price analysis things that I noticed are why we trade. A lot of people were screaming for all-time high of 40.28, wrecked, right? Absolutely wrecked. And that's why, like, you want to have a better understanding of the daily time frame before you start jumping into your overall analysis, right? And that's why daily time frame plays quite well. So you can see on the daily on Ethereum, we are in this same sort of situation right now. And that's why I at least mentioned to you guys that, hey, personally speaking, what I need to see on the daily is if we end up holding. So again, if we end up holding above the daily, so something like this, then yes, that would be invalidated. But if the daily just ends up seeing something like this, then the main level we'll still be looking for is going to be around the $2,800 region. And that, it makes me laugh because, again, these sort of analysis videos, the reason I post them is because to give you a better perspective of possibly where you can start looking into your buying opportunities. A lot of you guys, you know, take it a little too literal with your altcoins and like, okay, sure, your altcoin goes up 5% and you're like, oh my God, I missed my opportunity, it's over. And it's like, no, like, you need to have some sort of confirmation. You can't just go off, you know, just because your altcoin moved up 5%, that's it, you missed your chance. Like, you have to have some sort of realistic perspective. And the realistic perspective, at least for me, when I'm trading, is going to be on the daily time frames. I don't care about the 4-hour time frame necessarily right now. Like, if I'm looking for a trading opportunity, okay, sure, we can talk about it like this. On a 4-hour, if I'm looking for a long, this is my long level. 35.83 breaks, I look for a long. I play the wick high into 36.83. 36.83 is also the main level where we saw the breakdown structure. So yeah, I can trade like that too, but am I going to all of a sudden start loading into a ton of long positions or swing positions at this zone? No, probably not. And again, the reason why is because guess what? If I enter a long position or a swing position at this zone up here, right? So 3,600 or whatever, knowing the fact that previous price analysis, we have seen some exact situation like this play out before. If the market does end up correcting and we do end up seeing that same moveset play, well, now I'm underwater from 3,600. What does that mean for my altcoins? It means I pretty much caught the local tops. We see a flush down to 2,800. And now I'm going to be sitting there like, oh, I should have waited, right? It's like, no, like realistically, sure. We can talk about exact price ranges all day, but that's what I'm saying is I would personally, what I like doing is I like thinking worst case scenario. And when the worst case scenario does happen, that's when I start buying in. I don't start buying in all of a sudden on, you know, random move sets. Like you can see on Ethereum, like we did see random move sets. Like this is textbook, same exact trade right now. Even on the 4-hour, you can see like this is almost exactly the same. 40.28, we had a bounce to 36 in the same range, and then we had the corrective move again. We also broke above the EMAs. We also had the same W formation. Guys, I'm genuinely just looking at the same idea here. Look, so I can show you again. So you saw that W formation? So we can see real quick again, wherever the stupid chart is, all over here, we have the same exact W formation. Look how identical the charts are. W formation. Same exact formation playing out right now in Ethereum as well. So this is why personally, like I said, yeah, like the first green candle doesn't mean that we all start looking for long positions. It's just you got to be very, very, very cautious. So let me just read the chat now. Market is crazy. Bullish Monday. I still think we have more correction. Retest 70,000. I don't think this is just a bull trap. Yep, knew it. I noticed the same exact thing. Yeah, like these are things, like I said, like emotions aside, these are things you kind of notice, right? A lot of people, like they take things like, I can tell from the comments. So some people, like I said, like I'll post a video, like for example, Doge, right? So we can talk about Doge real quick. I made a video on Doge and I said, hey, realistically, what we want to pay attention to on Doge is 0.168. And I made that video when it was a Friday right here, like right around this level. And we were trading down here on the EMAs. And I said, if this level were to break and we start retesting the EMAs as resistance, then yeah, 0.11 is the main zone. People took it like, oh, what the hell? We're not. And like, it's like, it makes me laugh because like, again, we entered Doge right down here. We entered Shiba right down there. If you look at the Telegram, we entered those trades very early and we played it perfectly too. I am bullish on Doge long term. It's not like I'm out for your bags or anything. The thing is about Doge though is you have to be very cautious, is because guess what? A lot of you guys, and I can tell from the comments, are either new to the market now or just looking into the market, but I was there when Doge was going sideways the whole time, and we had these pump opportunities happen before, right? It's the same thing on Doge. We had this huge rally happen from 0.06 all the way into 0.15 in a bear market, and again, we saw the same corrective move back right to where it belonged. And that's what I'm worried about is, of course, if Ethereum ends up correcting down to 2,800, sure, you might have a 1 or 2 days of happiness, right? You have your little bullish case scenario playing out, of course. But if the market does end up correcting and we do see a correction move, then what would you do at that point, right? And that's why I tell you guys, like long term, if you're long term, like super long term, like 1, 2, 3 years, and you don't really care about, you know, your spot bags, then yeah, go for it. Like buy your altcoins and just sit on them. Don't start selling early or, you know, trying to catch the tops and the bottoms of the move sets. But for us leverage traders, we got to be very, very cautious because again, you guys know on most altcoins, if you catch the wrong move, you're pretty much getting absolutely wrecked. So that's why I always have a perspective of both sides, right? I want to give you guys the most realistic things that could happen. And again, like that's just how I trade, is because I'm very cautious when it comes down to entries. And the reason why you see in the chat sometimes I don't post is because I don't want to just randomly guess and be like, okay, we're going up, you know what I mean? Like, and they're like, oh, I called it. No, I have to have a plan, and I have to show you guys that plan too. And the plan for Ethereum was perfect, right? We were very strict on our plan. Like we were super strict on our plan. We let it run from all the way down here at 2000 all the way to 40.28, and that was a first corrective move. We played that. We knew from previous price analysis that that level was most likely going to play out, right? We had a plan. Then 40.28 hit, and I said, hey guys, probably a good idea to start taking your profits. And I showed you guys from previous price. People always say, oh, you always go off previous price analysis and you never have future predictions. It's like, brother, first of all, how do you have future predictions on a coin without understanding what happened in the past? You need to understand what exactly happens in the past for you to have any sort of future prediction, right? I can't just look at a chart like this and be like, yep, we're going up, right? You have to look at where the market had some sort of corrective move and where exactly is the next buying opportunity. So you can see we hit nearly down to 3,000. Well, we did hit 3,000. We hit the $3,000 range. Fed news came out. We had quite a bit of chop opportunities in between. This was all over the weekends, right? So no liquidity here. And now Monday morning, we have a strong bullish engulfing. But looking at the same moves that happened before, we've seen this situation again. So around 3,700 would be the zone to pay attention to on the daily, which on the daily would also put Ethereum above the EMAs. So yeah, just about right above the EMAs. So 3,700 would be the main zone. If that level ends up closing above, then that theory would be invalidated, and this most likely would be the next leg for Ethereum. But if that level ends up rejecting, right? So if that level, we end up seeing something like this, then ladies and gentlemen, yes, 2,800 is still the play. There's absolutely nothing that changed over this weekend for me to say, yeah, okay, now we're all bullish, right? So like, yeah, Bitcoin, a little bit of a different breed. And like I said, that's specifically for altcoins. We can see Bitcoin break off higher and higher compared to altcoins, right? Because you guys have seen that happen before. Some of you guys say, oh, why is Bitcoin pushing and altcoins are crashing? Well, because dominance. But Bitcoin right now definitely looks a little bit more interesting to me compared to the rest of the coins. But I am a little cautious at these levels regardless. Why am I cautious? Well, Mr. Powell is speaking, he's speaking again on, what is this, Friday, I think? Yeah, the 29th. Yeah, so that's a Friday. So, yeah, I'd rather just not. I'd rather just not play with fire, mostly with him. He's, like I said, everyone worships those speeches and whatnot. And of course, rates were neutral. So it gives us a better insight of what exactly could be said. But I have seen, you know, random cards happen before where rates were neutral and then they say, oh, we're expecting, you know, bearish or recession or yada, yada, yada. And then markets react accordingly, right? So that's why. And usually, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but yeah, you know, all of a sudden you have a candle with no wick and then Powell's speech is coming up and you have a huge breakout and everyone's bullish. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's just, to me, it's like, it's always funny to watch. But yeah. So anyways, in terms of me, I will be honest, I was chilling. I was vibing. I wasn't really just doing a birthday thing. I wasn't really looking at the charts at all, and I appreciate you guys for reaching out and just chilling. So yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of take a few days off. Like I said, I mean, I've been doing this for, I think, over a year and a half now, I think, in terms of videos. So a year and a half now, And 2,500 videos is a lot of videos for anyone. You guys gotta understand, like, I'm making these videos at one point I was doing it 4 times a day. And then making sure on a 4-hour interval that you guys had your 4-hour updates. I think this is the first weekend where I just took it off. I didn't care about the charts. I didn't care what was going on. There was a lot of setups I could have sent for sure. There was a lot of trades that could have happened, but for once I just wanted to just chill and do nothing. And yeah, so I actually slept in today for once too, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, so I'm happy Ethereum's going up, right? Obviously for me, it's like I'm not a long-term bear. I have a lot of Ethereum and I need Ethereum to do well, right? But I'm also just a little realistic in terms of price analysis too. I'm trying not to, give you guys the moon boy predictions of, okay guys, Ethereum to 10K without a realistic perspective. So again, if you're new to this channel, what we're looking for is around 3,700. That's going to be the main zone where you want to be very cautious about. If the market does end up rejecting that zone, though, that will give us a confirmation of 2,800. Everything is going to depend into that level. So yeah. How high can Doge go right now? I mean, Doge is its own little breed, right? So Doge has been its own little breed, but anything above 0.168 is extremely bullish. That's been the main zone we want to pay attention to. Anything above that level is extremely bullish, but we can see that we don't have the EMA confirmations yet, but if you want to play it aggressive, so for those of you that are leveraging, if you want to play it super aggressive, that's your zone, 0.193, break of that, and you can long into 0.21, but right now it's still a consolidation zone. And again, I will point this out before, this is most likely a consolidation. It has happened before. We've seen breakdown structures happen with a day or two. So just be very cautious of the Doge, like I said, right? So you don't want to necessarily jump ahead on Doge. Just be very, very careful with Doge's trades. So hope you enjoyed your birthday weekend. Thank you. Appreciate that. So what's the move now? Waiting. Well, I mean, the move right now would be, like I said, like in terms of Bitcoin, it is bullish, right? Bitcoin, you do have quite a bit of confirmations. If you want to look for a trade setup right now, I just gave you one. So 35.83 would be your trade setup. Like ideally a break of this, like you can see right now, the market structure is looking to break out. You can ride Ethereum into right there. So that wick high, 36.83, that's going to be the main level anyways, if you look at it from the daily perspective. So that's going to be the confirmation zone, right? So if we go back to the daily, back again, all the way down here, you can see we had the same sort of wick right at, where is it? Right here. So yeah, just about 36.80. Yeah, so 36.83, exactly the same wick, literally the same exact wick. All right, was that right? Yeah. So 36.83. So you can see that the market structure did happen like this before. So you can play that move if you want to. You can look for that long position on Ethereum right now, play into that wick of 36.83, and then end up, I would suggest locking in profits at that zone and then seeing what the market does, because that's going to be the invalidation zone, or of course that's going to be the breakout trade. So right now, this is a bullish confirmation trade. Like you want to be entering with the volume, mostly on a break structure of 36.83. You want to be entering into volume and playing it like that. But that's just how I would trade it. So let's see, doing a thank you Doge update. I will make a video after. Do you really have a small altcoin you are investing in? Do I have a small altcoin I'm investing in? I mean, I've given you guys my altcoin picks quite a bit. Like I've talked about my altcoins and my picks, and guys, like you got to understand, like in October, I think is when I made my altcoin video, but my altcoin picks, like what I'm going to be buying. And we can talk about it real quick, and you can go back in the video if you don't believe me. So number 1 was Hbar. I loved Hbar, and we called that. Number 2 was Pepe. So Pepe actually went 10x as well. Number 3, I believe, was IMX, right? So Immutable X. Number 4 was Beam. So Beam went 5x, Immutable went 5x. Pretty much most of the coins I talked about did extremely well. The only altcoin that I recently talked about, it's not even, well, I wouldn't say like altcoin like long term, but it was an altcoin pick that I had, it was over to Pixel. So Pixel, the Sappy Seals NFT, that coin that's supposed to be coming out, well, it is out, but that should do extremely well, I think, like long term. I haven't looked at it personally myself, but let's see. Pixel. So yeah, it's around 8 cents, so a 40 million market cap. So like when I talked about this coin, I explained to you guys that, hey, like realistically, this is going to be one of those coins that you want to buy long term. You don't necessarily want to, jump ahead and FOMO into this coin, because you can see that from February till now we're in April, like almost like this has just been sideways price action. Their game is supposed to come out, I think, I don't know, summertime or end of this year or something like that. So I do think that this coin in general is going to do well. Gaming narrative, right? So number one, you guys know my favorite thing is gaming narrative. I go off gaming narrative coins, and we like Beam, IMX, stuff like that. We were very early on those coins, so that's why I prefer those. And that's exactly it, right? So if you want to look at a low, like a decently risk to reward ratio, you can look into Pixel. But just keep in mind that this isn't something that moves every 5 minutes or every hour or something like that. You can see like the buys on Pixel like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Like there's not much volume on this coin. You can see we had like 100 and in one day, in 24 hours we have 139k volume. So that's just something to keep an eye on too, right? So you don't necessarily want to jump ahead and go all in on something like that. You want to just slowly dollar cost average. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're up, like let's say your portfolio is up like 3x, and then you're like, okay, I want to go diversify. I still want to keep my main bags, but I want to diversify a little bit. So then what you would do is just take a percentage of that and put it into Pixel, right? And that's what I'm saying, like slow movers like that, that's how you want to play them. Because the problem is, if you go all in on a slow mover, you're gonna see the market going up and fluctuating, and you're gonna feel like shit, like I'm in the wrong coin, this thing's not doing anything, this is stupid, I gotta leave. And that's where you make those mistakes, right? That's where you chase stuff and then you make those decisions and yada yada yada. So at least that's how I would play it. It's up to you guys how you guys want to play it. So yeah. ICP did great in the past few days. Yeah, I talked about ICP in the last stream as well, and I mentioned to you guys like at 14 breaks we'll be looking up for a breakout, and you can see like we did end up seeing a very nice trade opportunity. So ICP on the daily perspective does look extremely good. I do think ICP is probably going to hit that 23 region, so I still have my little circles drawn out here. Most likely ICP, because ICP is one of those coins that that honestly isn't following what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. It's kind of doing its own thing, right? So you can see like when we had that huge dump opportunity, we just saw consolidation on ICP, and that's usually a bullish indicator. So I would be heavily focusing into that 23, 24 region, and once that level ends up breaking out, then you can start focusing into the $38 region. But that's the levels on ICP. From a leverage perspective, if I'm looking at it right now, most areas of opportunity would be around 971, but every EMA bounce would be a trading opportunity. Unless, of course, 971 ends up breaking, then that would be a different story. But right now, anything above this zone is bullish on ICP. So you want to be paying attention to that. Pepe looks extremely good too on the daily time frame. Looks for a breakout. Yeah, so like same thing, right? I think the fun part right now is for a lot of these altcoins is everything is on major resistance. Literally everything. I think even Shiba is on major resistance. You can see how clean that retest was. So this would probably be a time to just, like I said, wait for your altcoins to see how Ethereum plays out. If of course the market structure does end up breaking out above, then that's going to be extremely bullish. But if we do end up rejecting this zone, then this to me is again just consolidation. Not really interested in anything that's like crazy from here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed your birthday. Yeah, so and do you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about? We can talk about it. I don't really have, like I said, this stream was just a market update, just a catch up period too. So in regards to Ethereum though, I just want to point something out, right? So in Ethereum, if you guys did take the long position at 35.83, there's two things you have to understand. Number one, please be aggressive, right? And what I mean by aggressive is please like lock in your profits if you're entering a scalp position, because yes, you are playing a breakout trade, but you can see that the EMAs, of course, are extremely leveraged. So ideally, you just want to be in and out of the market, retest that resistance, exit that trade. You can always re-enter back down here for a swing position, or of course, once the market structure ends up breaking above this wick, so 36.13, then you can go for the long again at 36.83. That's how you kind of play these scalp ranges. What you don't want to do is, of course, enter here and you hold your position, right? So right now you'd be in profit. Now you're holding your position, hoping for 36.83 to play out. Can something like this happen? Sure. Most likely, though, market does end up chopping first before your favorite trade plays out. Very rarely will you catch just a straight green candle. We have caught it before, But again, it's very rare that the market structure plays out like that. Usually, like I said, it looks like a W formation, right? So you can see, here's a perfect example of this on Bitcoin. It was a perfect W formation, right? It was beautiful. Right here was the breakout. So this should have been technically the next leg. What Bitcoin ended up doing was boom. So it dropped, hit that support level again, stop those traders out, and then continued higher. So that looks like a weird little W now, right? So you get my point. That's just something what I would do if I was trading like that. So ETH looks ripe for EMA retest. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? So I would be very cautious at these levels. If you are trading just scalping, you want to be in and out of the market. You don't necessarily want to be holding your trades too long, because when the corrective move does happen to the EMAs, you don't want to get flushed out. And then once the EMAs end up hitting, then yes, you can start looking for trading opportunities. That's just how we trade. That's what we look for. So yeah, do you guys have anything else that you guys want to chit chat about? I mean, I'm still, for those curious, I know some of you guys asked me, I still have my Pudgy. I'm still vibing with it. I've, surprisingly, they're doing quite a bit of airdrops, which is nice. So here's my Pudgy. I have it listed for 120 ETH. You know, still waiting for that bid to, or rather, I got an offer, actually. Someone did reach out to me for an offer for this, and they offered 85 Ethereum, and then it was like a whole OTC thing, and they were like, okay, well, we'll give you 85 Ethereum, and then on top of that, like a 15% if they end up selling it themselves. And I was like, well, no, I don't really feel like doing that. I prefer just straight cash, and the reason why is, like, there's two things with the NFT market right now, which I do think is interesting. Is number one, NFT bull market, I do think is going to happen once we find a consolidation on Ethereum. We will see some sort of bull run aspect of it. Number two is, right now, the beauty, at least for me, I know a lot of you guys don't look at NFTs, but from two perspectives, right? So number one, liquidity wise, that's the only downside for me, is I'm not very liquid. So I can't really play a lot of these trades that I'm sending you guys because I'm not very liquid right now, right? Like, I have stuff on the side and yada, 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 but like, I'm not moving with size like I was once moving with size before, right? And that's the issue. So that's why I kind of wanted to list it and try to get more liquid and then try to play these things a little bit better. But the other side of things is, right now, because Pudgies are so big in the NFT space, there's a lot of airdrops that are just happening, like literally free money just for holding this penguin. So it's like pros and cons to it, which I've been going back and forth, which of course has, like, you know, it's been on my mind for quite a bit as well. Like, I don't want to necessarily make the wrong decision, because I've shown you guys this before too, and we can talk about it real quick again. But like, the NFT bull run, when it did happen, and we saw, like, you know, Bored Apes go absolutely crazy. The thing is, like, you can have, for example, a floor, right? So a floor basically is like just a random picture, like, with no rare trace, nothing cool, like whatever. But the difference is, if you have something that is rare, considered rare, so you can see solid gold for Bored Apes at the time, some of these, like, apes were selling for, like, you know, like, look at this, like, last sale was 420 ETH, 333 ETH about 2 years ago in the NFT bull run, 569 ETH. Like, and that's my issue, right? Is like, okay, so at one point, trying to become liquid, and then at the other point, it's like, you know, when the NFT bull run starts, like, Pudgies are going to lead. And the reason why is, like, if you look at it from a perspective of collections right now, Pudgies are exactly almost the same, if not, like, they've already flipped Bored Apes multiple times. Like, we're talking the two biggest NFTs, other than, of course, CryptoPunks, but that's a whole different idea. But yeah, so Pudgies right now, like, they are considered a very, you know, something very rare to have, and I do have a very rare one. So I'm not really, like I said, you know, this is the kind of thought process I have. So having an NFT, you're, of course, you know, you're riding ETH as it goes up. So for me, I don't really care if the market pushes up higher. You guys got to understand that. Like, for me, I'm banking both ways. So the market goes up, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll short. And I'm still riding my NFT, which, you know, in terms of price, like, it's doing well. So, like, I'm not really that mad. But that's what I'm trying to say is, like, the other aspect of it is, of course, selling it now and then buying Doge or Shiba or something that I know in the near midterm will go up 5, 6, 7x. But the downside to that, of course, is if the market says, yeah, see ya, then, you know, it goes both ways. Then all of a sudden NFTs start going up because, you know, people want to start hedging again and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, that's just my thought process I've had lately. I'm not really sure how to play it. Like, I've listed it for 120. The last sale for the IC was 150 ETH. So 120 would be like around 430 grand G, something like that. So I bought it for 50, so like I'm up quite a bit, but that's how I'm playing it. So I'm just trying to be patient with it, of course, with the market too. Like, it's one of those weird times in the market where we don't necessarily know whether or not this is going to be like scenario A. So I'll talk a scenario A. I'm going to post it in Telegram as well, but I will talk about scenario A, and this is scenario A. Scenario A is, of course, we have the same price analysis here. Major dump opportunity from 40.28, pullback session into 36.80, and then a continuation down to 2800. This is scenario A. The only time scenario A, of course, would become in terms of rejection would be any break of 3700, and that would be the invalidation point for scenario A. But right now, this is the way I think we are in. This is the exact price range I think we're in right now. So that's why I'm personally just going to chill, and I'm not going to, you know, rush ahead into anything and start screaming for price predictions. That's just how I'm playing it. Make sense? But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. I mean, do you guys have anything you want to talk about, or you got everyone just kind of chilling? You guys have any questions, rather, before I hop off? I'll make Doge, you know, my most hated video. I have fans that love my Doge videos, and then I have fans that hate my Doge videos. And again, regardless, for me, it's like, you can say whatever you want about Doge and whatever you need, but realistically, it's like, we are two very different people in terms of bags. So I'm going to be more realistic when it comes down to Doge, because again, if I make a mistake and buy something too early, it's very significant amounts of money. So again, with Doge right now, 0.168, as long as you're above that level, you're bullish, right? So we had a beautiful V-shaped formation over the weekend. So yes, this was a very nice trade. But again, with ETH pushing into that zone right now, that's the only cautious thing I have. If ETH ends up rejecting this like this, yeah, I'm not gonna, you won't catch me holding Doge. I'll tell you that right now. I'm just sitting on my hands right now, waiting for spot buys. Yeah, exactly. What do you think of fear and greed index? I don't go off greed. I see that a lot of times, like a lot of retail TikTok people use fear and greed index. I don't use fear and greed index. The reason why is, of course, it's very manipulated, and you know, people say, oh, we're all-time fear, and they'll say at like 2,800, right? So it would be a 2,800 as like all-time fear. Then it'll push up to 4,000. It's like, okay, how's your indicator doing? And that's why I don't go off one indicator like that. I need to have multiple confluences in order to enter. So yeah, that's my reasoning. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter long term for fear and greed index. You ideally want to have some reasonings behind your trade setups, not just going off an indicator and trying to figure out what the play is. So that's what I would do. Raven coin, I can talk about Raven. I did talk about Raven. I know I made a message about it a while ago, but Raven, like I said, Raven's one of those coins that just, you know, you wakes up and it just rips. Like it's just like it is something to keep in terms of spot position. So I still have it here. So Raven, because from 2021, you guys remember 2021 in the bull cycle, we had Raven go absolutely parabolic. So from 2 cents over to 30 cents. From a spot position aspect of it, that's a huge trade. That is a huge trade. And I think right now Raven is in the same setup opportunity, because every time Raven breaks out of 0.038, we see the same run up, right? So look right here, we had this perfect example. This is in the bear market. Raven broke up, it ran up to 0.08 almost, and then it corrected again. So right now, Raven is a beautiful setup. If we do end up breaking above 0.038, I do think we could see situation number 2 like this playing out once again. Like, this is one of those coins where I tell you guys, like, you know, like Filecoin. Like when you have a consolidation that's this large, it is extremely bullish if you can slide it early, and you can of course enter on that resistance break. Now, again, going in back to hand, so this doesn't mean you start loading up your positions right here. You need confirmation, and that's your confirmation zone. If the market ends up just kind of doing this, then you don't necessarily want to get caught out on the sideways action, right? You want to just play breaks in and out bull markets. That's how we've traded, just quickly in and out. So yeah, that's Raven for you. But yeah, I'll end it there. You know, just a quick market update. I will do Doge later. I will do Ethereum as well. I'll probably do Ethereum first, because I know everyone's waiting on Ethereum, and I'll actually give you guys the insight on scenario A in detail on the Ethereum video, so this way you guys have something to go back to. But yeah, I will end it there. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later tonight or later today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.